Hey, I'm JR, training manager here at Crutchfield, and these are SVS 1000 Pro Series subs. The SB-1000 Pro and the PB-1000 Pro, sealed and ported. I've had the pleasure of taking both of these subs home to my house. I spent 4 days with them listening to music and watching movies. So everything I'm going to tell you about these subs is based on what I thought about how they sounded in my house. They are an upgrade over the existing 1000 series subwoofers. They both have 12-inch high excursion woofers. And I can tell you, I really put those to the test. I was running a test tone generator as well as listening to some music and movies, very loud. And these subwoofers do move. They move a lot of air and they do it really well and very precise. Those 12-inch high excursion woofers are powered by a sledge amp. It's the same amp in the sealed and the ported sub. And these amps are really cool. They combine two really cool technologies. Class D amplification, which is highly efficient, makes a lot of power without using a lot of current from the wall, and doesn't waste a lot of power as heat. And it uses discrete MOSFET outputs, which makes sure the sound is nice and clean and distortion free. SVS paid a lot of attention to the build on the cabinets themselves. The way they are improved over the existing 1000 series is with internal bracing. The purpose of that is to keep the cabinets from flexing or vibrating when the bass is hitting, because anytime the actual cabinet moves or vibrates, you lose bass. And so these are very rigidly built to make sure that all the sound is forced out of the front of the subs right into your listening room. Let's talk specs for a moment. The frequency response on these boxes, will start with the sealed, is all the way from 20 hertz up to 270 hertz, which means it's capable of playing the lowest bass you can possibly hear. Now, a lot of the bass in music doesn't go that low, but there are certainly instruments and resonant frequencies that do go that low, and this sealed version of the sub will definitely give you accurate bass all the way down to 20 hertz. If you want to go even lower than that, the ported box might be for you. It goes all the way down to 17 hertz, which is technically lower than human hearing, and you really are feeling it. I felt the frame of my couch working loose when this thing was really rumbling at its lowest point. Like I mentioned earlier, I did take both of these subs home. I've had them there for the last 4 days. I took the existing subwoofer that I normally use out and replaced it with each of these one at a time. Getting them hooked up was fairly easy. I just plugged them into power using my surge protector. I plugged them into the LFE output of my home theater receiver. I downloaded the SVS subwoofer app and used that to control and set up the subs. Now you can do some control right from the back. There is an intelligent control panel with LED lights and buttons that's very intuitive and very easy to use, but it's not as good as being able to do it from the comfort of your couch, your actual listening position. So I sat there with my app on my phone and I was able to dial in the volume, the preset EQ curves, adjust the room gain, the phase of the subwoofers, and basically just change all the settings until I was very happy with the sound. I did that for each of these subwoofers so they were tuned to my liking in my room. So let's talk about how they actually sounded for me at my house. I started with the SB-1000 Pro, the sealed box, and I played a bunch of different stuff, some scenes from movies and some music. And what I found was I love this subwoofer for music. It is incredibly articulate. For a 12-inch woofer to be so precise, to be able to give me tight, accurate bass on bass guitar notes, kick drum. I'm a drummer, so I pay a lot of attention to the sound of the kick drum, deep voices, things like that. Articulate bass down to 20 hertz. It's not just a frequency response specification, it's for real. It really sounded good. And I tried a bunch of different types of music. Outcast, The Way You Move, a lot of great deep rumbly bass there. ZZ Ward's Cannonball, a little bit more articulate bass. Sturgill Simpson, whose recordings range from very clean recordings of bluegrass to very dirty, grungy rock and roll on Sound and Fury. And this thing had no trouble playing any and all bass that I wanted from any of all of those recordings. It was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I switched it over to movies, and it did fine playing movies as well. Lots of rumble, lots of hard-hitting effects. When things exploded, you could really feel it. And then I hooked up the ported box, and that's when movies were taken to the next level for me. Its ported design with those 2 ports on the front allows it to move a lot more air and be a lot more efficient. It also gets down to 17 hertz. And for movies, home theater, if you're watching a big action movie, I watched a bunch. I watched Ready Player One. I watched a couple of the new Star Wars, the sequel trilogy movies, where there's a lot of great sound effects in there. In Ready Player One, for example, there's a couple of scenes that I go to anytime I'm testing out a subwoofer. The race scene towards the beginning of the movie, lots and lots of cool effects. The bridge, the King Kong moving around. You're gonna hear a lot of rumble, and this thing did all of it. Towards the end of the movie, the cataclysm goes off. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. I have a friend who works at a movie theater. He sets up the audio and video systems in a chain of movie theaters. And he told me that at the premiere of Ready Player One, the bass in the cataclysm scene required so much amplifier juice to give you all the bass in that movie theater that it actually flipped the breakers in his movie theater. That's how much bass there is in that scene, so it's a go-to for me if I'm testing a subwoofer. And the PB-1000 Pro had no trouble giving me rumble like I wouldn't believe in my living room. Certainly much better than anything I've experienced from my normal 10-inch ported subwoofer that I use on a regular basis. The PB-1000 Pro, by the way, it comes, as you see here, with 2 ports on the front, which gives you that more efficient, high impact movie theater type bass. If you want to tighten it up though, you can ask SVS to send you some port plugs. They are free upon request from SVS. You can use those port plugs to seal up those ports and make this subwoofer a little tighter and a little bit more musical. The subs look great. They do come with grills that you can put on them to protect the speakers. However, if you're like me, you might leave the grill in the box and just look at the subs as you watch them. As you're watching a movie, listening to music, you'll see the excursion on the subwoofers. They're almost as fun to watch as your movie is, and they look pretty awesome even without the grill. So it's your choice. Use the grill or not. So which one should you get, the sealed box or the ported box? I enjoyed both. I felt the sealed box was really at its best when I was playing music, and the ported box was at its best when I was playing movies. That's what I would recommend, music, movies. If you do a bunch of both, get one of each. You can't go wrong having 2 subwoofers in your home theater system. Most home theater receivers have 2 subwoofer outputs anyway. That's why they're there, so that you can dial in the exact type of bass for whatever it is you're watching. And if you have one of each, you can't go wrong. So these are the SVS 1000 Pro Series subs, sealed box and ported box. If you have any questions about getting the right powered subwoofer for your home stereo or home theater system, get in touch with us here at Crutchfield. Go to crutchfield.com/contact. You'll see ways to communicate with our advisors. You can do it live over the phone or chat with them online, and they can help you get the right subwoofer for your home theater. You can also post your questions right here on YouTube down in the comment section on this video. We have people standing by looking at those comments, and they will respond accordingly. Also, while you're here, hit like, hit subscribe, and turn notifications on so you'll know when we put out another video. And thanks for watching.